This is Nasir Panhwar. Currently, I am working as a consultant with a project titled Sindh Resilience Project. It's basically a resilience project, and we are working for improving the resilience in the arid zones of Sindh by building small recharge dams in the different parts of Sindh, including Thar, Kohistan, and other parts of arid zones. And previously, I have been working with different environmental organizations, which includes International Union for Conservation of Nature, WWF, Worldwide Fund for Nature, and I'm also a fellow of LEAD Pakistan, and also I have been part of the International Visitors Leadership Program (IVLP) 2010, which is an initiative by the U.S. government, and our theme of our course was the water resource protection in U.S. So my story is very simple, and I come from a humble family from a village which is near Seven Sharif, and I did my matric from Government High School Bubak, and later on I did my intermediate from Hyderabad, and I did masters in sociology, University of Sindh. And while doing my education, I got opportunity to work with different organizations, and basically what I feel that my role model which motivated me to come into this field was in my home. It was my part of my family, and he was my maternal uncle, Dr. Khan Muhammad Panhwar, and he encouraged us to work in the field of rural development, because he was part of various organizations and founder of various organizations such as Sindh Graduate Association, Got Sudhar Sangat. So we started working while we were in education or schooling, and as a volunteer I started working in Got Sudhar Sangat, and I was also part of his monthly magazine Paras. So this is and Dr. Panhwar had a very unique idea of encouraging youth, and what he used to do is that he just put youth and young people into some assignment. He always gives some assignment to youth. So this is how youth feel encouraged that he or she can do something. So I think he has produced a number of young people, encouraged a number of young people who are now big names in their fields. Maybe it's a journalism or the social work. So I was part of Got Sudhar Sangat, and then this magazine Monthly Paras, and then I got opportunity to work in the World Bank assisted project, which is called Sindh Rural Water Supply Sanitation Project, based in Sakhar and Ladkana. And there I used to work as a local consultant, so I had expatriates working there, and from which I learned a lot. My team leader was Sri Lankan, and there I got opportunity to improve my skills. Particularly, I used to write in English and speak in English. So this is how my grooming has taken place. So I think a number of people have influenced my life, which includes Dr. Khan Muhammad Panhwar, and also my parents, my father, my mother, because as I said that we come from humble family. We are seven children to our parents. So I, being an elder, I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. So now, mashallah, we all are graduates from university, and one of my sister is working as a university professor in Sindh University, and my other sisters are also mostly they are in education sector, and my 2 brothers are working in development sector. So as I said that most of the grooming I got at my home, because we used to get every day number of newspapers. So I used to read and write not only Sindhi papers but also English papers at my home. So this kind of environment I used to get at my home. And similarly, when I was at village, I remember that I used to get a children's monthly children magazine in Sindhi, which is called Gulful. Through postal, I used to get that magazine in my village. So I started, cultivating, my inclination towards writing and literature. And till now, I have compiled 3 to 4 books in English and 3 books in Sindhi. So almost 7 books are on my credit. My first book was on Indus flood 2010, and second book was on the flood of the southern part of 2011. Title of the book is Sindh at the Crossroads of Disasters. And similarly, I had another book compiled in English that was on the drought of Thar. And I had also compiled book on famous and currently very degraded lake Manchar, because I have very good memories with Manchar, and I used to see how flourishing that lake was, and now how degraded it is. So I had a compiled book on Manchar Lake, and similarly I had another book on the coal of Thar. That is also compiled by me, various articles by the various written by various authors. And my recent book is of my all environment related articles in one book that is also in Sindhi, and it's called Acho Pani Lodthyo. So this is how I have been working in different sectors. So after this World Bank project in Sakhar and Ladkhana, I was associated with the Rasta Development Consultants as being a part of that company. I used to work with different projects, including this water supply period, and also a few years I worked with LBOD. So meanwhile, I started writing in different newspapers, and also, as I said, I was part of the monthly magazine Paras. So I did a lot of interviews of the various literary figures, and those have been published in that magazine. And later on, while working with this consultancy firm Rasta, one day I saw the ad in the Daily Dawn. It was ad from the international organization of environment. It is called International Union for Conservation of Nature. And there was a position of NGO coordinator. So normally, because these are very high profile organizations, and so people like us are very, afraid or reluctant to apply for such positions. So somehow I got ideas that I should be, applying for that position. So I applied for that position in IUCN for the coordinator of NGO unit in IUCN. And at that time, IUCN was a very huge organization. So one day I got an interview call, so I went there and appeared in interview. So it was very extensive interview with a complete, panel of the experts. So they said that, okay, we will let you know about the, outcome of this interview shortly. But a lot of time went, and there was no news from them. So, and after a couple of weeks, I got a call from IUCN, and they said that we are going to have second round of interview, and so you have to appear again. So I again appeared for second round interview, and so finally I was lucky and I was selected for the position, and I joined IUCN in 2000, and I worked with IUCN for about 8 years. So till 2008, I was working with IUCN with different positions, and there we did a lot of work on the environment of Sindh, particularly very pioneering kind of work which we did in IUCN was the development of a State of Environment and Development Report, which is the first of its kind, which caters to 22 sectors of the Sindh, which includes green sectors, brown sectors, and social sectors. And it is kind of a baseline study or report which was developed by IUCN, and we that was contributed, or the chapters were contributed from by the different experts of Sindh, and so it was a very extensive process, identifying those experts and commissioning them papers, and then they used to come and present those chapters or papers into the consultative workshops for further refinement and input from the stakeholders. So it was a quite extensive activity which we did it took us about 3 years to complete that State of Environment and Development Report. And similarly, then we, along with Sindh government, we developed a Sindh strategy for sustainable development. It is also an important document for Sindh development of Sindh, which was developed for the Sindh government by the Planning and Development Department, and technical support was given by IUCN. And similarly, in IUCN, we did a lot of produced a lot of environmental education material in English and Sindhi, and we did a lot of documentaries on environment of Sindh. And at district level, we took district Badin as a model for the our work, and so we developed a district development VN for district Badin and 5-year education plan for Badin. So these are some of the initiatives which were taken by the IUCN, and it gave me a lot of exposure, national, international. And as I mentioned at the outset, that I am also lead fellow of Pakistan. So it is also very privileged, organization where different years selected through very extensive selection process. And there also I appeared, and through interview I was selected. And this lead program as a fellow, and they gave us a very extensive, training in the field of environment and development. And it was training which was not only based in Pakistan, but it was also there were a number of sessions which were, conducted abroad. Including our first international session took place in Costa Rica, and our graduation of Lead Pakistan took place at Zimbabwe, Harare. So that is also a very strong network of international, environmental developmental professionals, which still exist, and we are part of a global community, and where very wide range of, experts are part of this family called LEAD. And because environment and development not only pertains to the environmentalist, every sector is part of environment, and it's not a standalone subject. So it is a cross-cutting subject. So if a university professor or journalist or a development professional or even public sector, government officer, they can also contribute in this field. So this is a very unique forum which is LEAD, and it gave me a lot of exposure and learning from national and international perspective. And so what I believe in this, that while throughout my life, wherever I have worked, I have my selection has been through merit, because in private sector, in international organization, there is no any possibility of connection or or reference. That is only merit. So I believe in merit, and this is what I have been told by my seniors, that if you have skills, if you have knowledge, and you go into the market and present yourself in that competitive process, and then only you will be successful. So this is what I want to give a message to my young youth, particularly, that you believe in your skills and knowledge, and try to be part of the process through the competitive process, and believe in merit and believe in skills and knowledge which you possess. Because if you even go or if you to join any organization, or if you get job through any reference, you can join that organization, but you cannot prove with your skills. So one day you may be fired. So this is how I have been working throughout my life. And similarly, after spending 8 years in IUCN, then I got opportunity to work with WWF, which is another international environmental organization. And I worked for WWF for about 4 years. And there also we did a lot of wonderful work through our program called Indus for All program. And we had 4 sites where we worked very closely with local communities, which includes KT Bandar in Thatra, Kinjar Lake in Thatra, and Pai Forest in Nawab Shah, and Chochari Reservoir in Sangha district. And these 4 sites were our key site areas for integrated natural resource management and livelihood improvement through local communities. And similarly, we had a small grants program called Partnership Fund. And there we also provided, financial support to different organizations in such as academia, NGOs, and government departments to work for betterment of environment sector. And so throughout, whether it's IUCN, whether it's WWF, it gave me a lot of opportunity to work closely with a number of stakeholders, such as government sector, private sector, and NGOs, civil society, and academia, and media. So this is how I have been working. And as I said, that the most important thing is this, that if you work with consistency, your work will be acknowledged one day. Because what I feel that we people mostly are inconsistent in our work, and but I used to say that we are consistently inconsistent people. So consistency is also very essential for your success. If we start something and then we leave it in the middle, it won't bring any results. So whether how difficult path you may take, but if you complete it with your passion and consistency, and passion is also important, because no matter how good you are at your education, no matter how good degrees you possess, but if you don't have any passion, you will not bring any results or change. So passion, internationally it is now recognized that along with good education and skills, passion is also very imperative and essential for the success of in your career. So this is another area which I want to stress on, that passion is also very important and essential, and we must appreciate, or we love our work so that it can give us better results. If we do not involve ourselves with our work with passion, so it will not make any impact, not only yourself but also the other common people or common society.